still go, 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 go.
Knudsen.
What's up, Tursky?
This is Two Guys Talking Golf.
That's right, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I understand that you wanted to say something to the people before we get started.
Well, listen, before we get going, I just want to let you guys know this episode brought to you by Fujikura Golf and the Fujikura Ventus line of shafts. And listen, I've said it for the past couple of weeks. You know, if you don't know, the Fujikura Ventus, crazy success the past couple of years. Members' choice, number one on PGA Tour. They've had, over the past 2 years, number one brand and having the number one model for both drivers and wood shafts. The crazy stat last year on tour, 48% of tournaments won by a player with a Fuji driver shaft, which is unbelievable. And so far this season, 37% of all driver shafts used on PGA Tour have been Ventus, which is wild. So, FujikuraGolf.com, find your local fitter, authorized dealer, go try some Ventus shafts, 6 different models. There's something that is, built for everybody's swing at some point. So, between the 6 different models, Ventus TR, a lot of good options. So, FujikuraGolf.com and check out the Ventus, man.
Throw the V's up for Ventus.
That's right. Got all 6 of them behind me.
I know the YouTube commenters are going to be going crazy over your hat. They love the upside down question mark hat. I know that.
I know. It's so funny. Like I didn't even think about that because I put it on today. I was running some errands with the fam. I just threw it on. Like I opened my closet and there's just a billion hats. So on the wall is a little rack that's, attached to the door that I have the ones I wear the most. And I just grabbed it and put it on. And I was thinking about it right as we came to record. I was like, oh, I'm wearing the hat. The hat that everybody likes. Yeah,
I got on a hat too. I got on a 1 of 1.
I know. I was telling you before, man, the white with the black logo, the WRX one, I love it. I love it. I gotta get one.
Big shout out to Lids. Thank you, Lids.
I was in the mall today. I walked by a Lids. I could have stopped in and got one.
You could have got a 1 of 1 as well.
I know.
I'll charge you royalties on that though. Don't take my design. All right. So we got an exciting podcast today, actually. We got some Tiger Woods talk. And not just oh, I wonder what Tiger's up to. It's we know what he was up to this week.
Yep.
So we got some Tiger answers. I was also in the Bahamas, so doing the island life. It was cut a little short weather-wise. The weather was not good at all Wednesday. It was downpouring rain.
Really?
Yeah.
How is Albany, though? Because, that's one of those places that I think when you talk to people, or at least it seems from the outside looking in, that it is just crazy, like a crazy club. It's very exclusive, very, a lot of money there, all that. But, how is that place? Because to me, it kind of lives this little life of, where, yes, it's not quite Augusta or Pine Valley or something like that. It is still, to me, one of those things that, you really have to make it in life to be a member there, and it looks amazing on TV.
Yeah. So I was there. It was my first time there. It was my first time in the Bahamas in general. It was my first time at Albany. It was my first time driving on the wrong side of the road. I had a lot of firsts. So I do have hole by hole, basically shot by shot photos up in the forums. I don't know if you took a look at those, but I think it shows a pretty good insight of what the course is. Definitely hyper exclusive. They got the guards out front and it's a long drive to get back in there. Once you're through the gates, it's still another mile.
Oh, really?
Given I wasn't parking literally at the clubhouse, but I think the clubhouse was even farther. We were just in a little sand waste area bunker, parking lot in the media center. Really nice though. Very cool event. The course. Now I'm not playing the course, so it's hard for me to tell, but I would say it looks pretty standard in terms of island resort course. There's not a lot of elevation change. It's all very flat. So it kind of reminds me of Florida golf a lot.
Okay.
Was I blown away by any of the holes? I think 9 and 18 are pretty cool. They got some nice par 3s there. The first couple of rounds of the event this year, I didn't watch, so I'm assuming the weather was tough. But the scores were a lot higher than I thought. The course doesn't seem super difficult. Like the landing areas off the tee are pretty generous. There is some fall offs around the greens and there's deep bunkering, but it seems like there's room out there. Like I wasn't on any tees or standing on any shots. Like, where do you even hit the ball? This looks like a really tough hole. It just looks like a normal kind of strategy course. You know, you play it into the right part of the fairway off the tee. You keep it away from short-siding yourself on the approach shot and stay out of the wind. So, I mean, the wind definitely gets blowing, though.
Oh, yeah.
So I see that being a huge problem, and you're kind of just out there. I mean, there's no trees to block the wind or anything. It's very Bannon Dunes-like in that way, you know? So you're thinking and playing shots, but the course itself, I mean, you know, it's a private resort course to me. That's what it felt like. I mean, the practice area is really nice, now that I think about it. The practice area is really nice. Like, if I was a member there, I'd be fired up about the range, the short game area, nice little putting green. Yeah, I guess that's my review. Like, I would love to play that. I would love to play the course. We love the logo. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
I won't tell that story, but I know that we both love the logo.
I'm a big fan of the logo, that's for sure. Yeah.
But it was great being there. Like, definitely an exclusive, you know, you're at a high-end golf club.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, no, like I said, it's always just been one of those, like, you know,
it didn't feel like cool. To me.
Yeah.
I'll say
I've unfortunately I've never been, so I can't make a comparison, but I will take your word for it because I know you have been there.
I'm from Jersey and I'm biased, though. So, anyway.
It's true.
Tournament host, Tiger Woods. Unfortunately, you know, I go all the way out there to try to, you know, see what's in Tiger's bag. Ultimately, he's dealing with plantar fasciitis, had to withdraw. News came Monday. I have had plantar fasciitis before. It was like 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and I was definitely a big like basketball player at the time. Could not play, like, very off and on. It's definitely a lingering type injury, and once you kind of jar it, it's just like you kind of can't walk. It hurts so bad. Yeah. For anyone listening that's had it, I'm sure they know it's just kind of brutal pain, so I feel for him. He definitely looked like he was struggling with it a little bit from what I could tell walking-wise. He did compete, though, in the hero shot, so we got to look at his swing. Now, the hero shot is like an 87-yard challenge where they have this little bullseye platform out in the pond between 9 and 18, and it's a whole event. Like, they have a DJ. They have 6 competitors from the event up there, so it was like JT, Fitzpatrick, Fleetwood, Max Homa, and Tom Kim against Tiger. Tom Kim's electric.
Yeah.
He's really entertaining. He was really into the event. He's obviously like the youngest one, and I'm sure they've all kind of done it before, and they know what it is. Like, it's for the fans. It's fun. It's an exhibition. He was trying to win the thing for sure. He was keeping a good mood about it. Like, he wasn't talking too much crap, but it was a fun little event, and I got to see Tiger swing. I know people were commenting about him wearing Nikes again. They were sneakers.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they're like training shoes. The funny thing is, you got some like photos of them, like at that event, like kind of zoomed in, and I was at like a Dick's Sporting Goods today, and I was looking at the same shoe. They didn't have the same black colorway that he was wearing with like the, I think like kind of like herringbone pattern through the swoosh or whatever, but they had like a white version of them. And I was actually looking at them because I was like, oh, that's the shoe Tiger was wearing. Pick it up and take a look at it. $129.99.
They're custom Metacon 8, which is like the newest Metacon. I don't know. I don't have any of those. I wear Vans. So
yeah, I wear flip flops
every now and then, but Vans mostly. So those weren't golf spikes because they were just hitting an 87-yard off a mat. Like, he didn't need to go all out with that. So the FootJoy Nike drama has not been settled. We'll probably get more of it coming up because he is committed to play in the match and the father-son. Have you seen some videos of Charlie recently?
No, the last one I saw, the last video was the one when he played that junior event where he got announced and came up and all that and played. That was the last I've seen of his swing and him playing. It's funny though, like just even from last year's PNC to like that event, which was a couple months ago now. He's definitely he's growing up fast. Like he looks significantly older. Like he looks bigger, he looks stronger, he looks everything. And it'll be interesting to see him at the PNC and see what changes you can see to his swing, how much farther he hits it, all that. It's going to be really, I mean, and the kid's got so much pressure on him. Like the media's just all over him. They're not all over any other player.
I think he likes
him.
it though.
I think he's embraced it, but I think also like his dad kind of told like I think when Tiger said like, if we're gonna go do this, what was it last year? Like if we're gonna go play, we're gonna go play. Like we're not just like this isn't just, hey, let's have some fun and whatever. Like we're gonna go compete, and you better be ready to grind. And he did. He went out there and played his butt off, man. So I think he was probably told like, listen, like this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah,
like
his life was gonna be like that anyway. Like he's Tiger Woods' kid. I know there's probably differing opinions about like should Tiger have been more protective at a younger age? Like, oh, you saw what happened to you. Why would you do it to him? But I don't know. I think Charlie just likes competing. He hangs out with like Rory and JT and Ricky, and Tiger Woods is his dad. Like, of course he wants to be a great golfer, and he's been around the media his whole life. So he's probably used to that. It's not like me and you growing up just going to elementary school and middle school. Like he's a superstar.
Yeah. And
there's Twitter accounts that are like
parody
accounts
parody.
of Charlie Woods. He's like, what, 14 years old? Like not even 12.
Yeah, he's like,
he
I
looks
don't
big. He's growing fast. I wonder if he's on like a fitness regimen, because
I wouldn't be shocked if he wasn't.
Tiger was really skinny until he was maybe 28-ish, I want to say. Like he didn't really start packing on muscle and pounds, but Charlie looks like he's going to be big.
And
I don't know what
realistically,
kind of genes Elin has. I don't know. I mean, she might have like big dudes in her family.
Yeah, she could. And honestly, I think if you're, if you're that kid, you're right now, Charlie, if you're Charlie right now, you're probably sitting there going, I want to be better than my dad. And I want to beat my dad and all that. Because those,
that's a lot of pressure.
Well, no, but those dreams, like you don't get it yet, I don't think. So like, and the thing, and it's going to go one of two ways. He's either going to grind his butt off and try to do that and continue to try to beat his dad and be the greatest to ever play, or he's going to get burned out and he's going to get some other interests and he's going to go off and he'll play golf as like his hobby, recreation, whatever, and he'll chase some other passion in life. And if he goes down the road of golf, he's going to be basically, people are going to put him under the microscope. And if he goes and does other things, there'll be a short period where somebody will be like, oh man, what he could have been if he would have stayed, whatever. But it's kind of like if you look at Michael Jordan and his sons, they played basketball. None of them had the talent that he had or whatever. And they played a little bit, but that's fine. And with Charlie, it could be the same thing, or it could be, hey, we see him on tour in, 10 years and he's out playing or whatever. I mean, we just don't know. But to be fair, there's also a chance where he loses interest and goes and does some other things. I mean, you just never know.
Which would be fun. From my perspective, I don't know how Tiger raises him or anything like that. Certainly not judging. But, if he went and did something else, I'm sure he would carry over the work ethic that, Tiger's giving him now.
No, 100%. I mean, as a dad of a toddler, so I'm not in that area of sports right now, but I mean, you just kind of look at it and just say, like, I want them to be successful. Whatever they want to do is great. Go do it. Right. And like you said, as long as they have the work ethic to, like, if you want to go play soccer, or you want to go play football, or you want to play tennis, whatever the sport is, as long as you're willing to put in some work, if however good you want to be, that's, kind of what you want out of it. And if you want to chase down a career of it, hey, man, it's going to be a ton of work, but, you'll be behind him. But it'll be interesting to see, because like I said, I think he's probably still in that this is a lot of fun stage, and then it's, in a few years, it's going to turn into, well, if you want to keep chasing this, this dream, it's going to turn into some real work.
Yeah. Seems like he is very much enjoying it so far, though. But anyway, more about his dad. He's real for playing in it, even. Like, I'm telling you, he was struggling to walk, it seemed to me. But But he went up there like a good tournament host, and he took 6 shots. The first one did not go great. I think he caught it a little bit thin. After that, I mean, he hit 5 decent shots. They all came up just short, or like just bounced and missed the bullseye. But he had 5 good swings to me. It looked a little bit tentative. You can tell his feet just aren't releasing. Like, it's hard when you can't use the ground as a force and you're kind of just like arm swinging. So I feel him, but the swings still look good. It was great to see him. He sounded like, when he was talking, he sounded like he was in good spirits. He was getting peppered about live questions. Oh my God. In the press conference. Yeah. So he was just dealing with that. I think him and Rory are pretty much in lockstep that they want Greg Norman out. And other than that, like, they're getting sued. He's like, they started it, so why would we want to do business with them if they're suing us? Like, Of course we're not going to come to an agreement. It does sound like that's what they want at some point down the road, is to, join forces, figure it out somehow. But right now, they're not there yet. And there's fighting words going back and forth. I'm surprised all these guys are even talking about it with a lawsuit going on, because they're going to use all that. So I'm sure they're conscious when they're talking that, hey, it's being recorded. Lawyers are probably going to bring this up in court, et cetera, et cetera. So they're probably being careful, but they're cooking Greg Norman right now. And not saying he doesn't deserve it, but they are cooking him. Yeah. I mean, they're straight up like calling for him to get fired and be out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those, like, you can call it one. I mean, people always say Goodell should be fired and all this stuff. Like, I get it. But, with those guys, like I said, Rory and Tiger, they're probably PR trained before this whole thing. I mean, those guys they've been a pro a long time. They probably have people in their camps who are saying, all right, well, here's what you can say, here's what you can't say, here's whatever. So, yeah, they'll answer it to a point. But I bet there's some, heated feelings, whatever, that are still kind of held back, that they're not releasing. But I bet off camera they're dropping all sorts of bombs.
Brutal.
So, but I mean, I get it. Like, Tiger is the face of the PGA Tour. Mm-hmm. Like, he is the face. So, everybody's going to ask him a bunch of questions. I mean, personally, even being a person who works in the golf media, like, I'm almost kind of sick of the live questions. Like, we get it. Like, it's like, we get it. There's this other tour. It's done a lot better than everybody thought. Like, it's all this. I get it. But I'm watching the PGA Tour, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just a lot. Even I'm kind of like to the end of it. But, you can call for Norman's head, but it's ultimately not your decision. It's a guy over in, Saudi Arabia who fronted a bunch of money, and it's up to him whether Norman stays or leaves.
Yeah. It is kind of annoying, those press conferences. It's like half the questions are about and they're all just like slightly different questions asking the same thing. It's like, all right, let's just ask other stuff. It's so tiresome. I get we want like to hear Tiger Woods' opinion on it. Like you said, he's the face of the tour still, whether he likes it or not. It's just true. So we're hanging on his every word about that, because it's important to the golf space. So I do get it. At the same time, we're at the Hero World Challenge, and he just withdrew and all that. It's like, let's focus on what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Either way, Matthew Fitzpatrick hit a walk-off hole-in-one. He dunked it in the bucket to win the hero shot. So that was cool. It was just a fun little event. So I liked that a lot. I liked seeing Tiger. Good to see him in relatively good spirits. Unfortunately, wish we got to see him play this week. But tournament goes on, and he's slated to play in the match of father-son, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So he basically said, with the father-son, he can just sit in the cart and let Charlie carry him. So even if he can't swing, they'll still have a good time.
That's true. That tournament there, I mean, that and the match, too. I mean, the match, they ride around carts and everything, too, because like you, I've had plantar fasciitis before, and it is, like, it doesn't go away, like, the next day. It's not like you just, like, throw some ice on it, put a little tape on it, and you're fine tomorrow. Like, it can take a little while. Now, he has...
iPad drop.
I mean, he's got like the best medical, professionals and physical therapy and all that you can possibly have. So his recovery is probably going to be a little different than yours and mine, which was give it a couple days, try to go run.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a couple days, try to go run. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a little different, but yeah, I mean, with those, thankfully, he will be able to ride most of it, so he won't have to like really stress out the foot. But hopefully he gets through those without causing any more problems and pushing any, delays back even further.
Okay, so I think we covered all that needs to be covered with Tiger. Think we can move on now?
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Collin Morikawa.
Oh, boy, yeah.
He doesn't change irons a lot. The only time we talk about him making iron changes out in Scotland where there's firm turf. I know he tries to change up the sole a little bit out there in Scotland. Other than that, he's playing P730 short irons and P7MC long irons, little combo set. He's been playing the P730s for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
So I went over to his bag on Tuesday, expecting nothing to change, but I was just going to shoot his what's in the bag, get a little update, maybe see if he made like a putter change. All new irons in the bag. Awesome. Everything new. And the short irons were P7CM. So that was the first iron I saw in his bag. I was like, wait a second. That doesn't say MC. I know who CM is. So he did get a custom set made. I guess he worked pretty closely with TaylorMade on working with some prototype blades. I know they did a little testing at the Kingdom. He said that was his first time doing that. Like sitting down with TaylorMade, going through iron designs and stuff like that and testing everything out. It was his first time. And he was pretty fired up. He seemed to really like the irons. He was like, I was playing those P730s and quote unquote, he said, I freaking love the P730s. He's like, the only reason I'm switching is because this is slightly better. And that's scary to hear from Collin because he's already top 4 every year, basically. And strokes gained approach. Like he's scary good with the irons. And if he's tightening up that dispersion, feeling happy and comfortable with those new P7CM blades, they don't look like super, super different. I think there's minor adjustments to like sole, groove, etc. It did look like a raw look from address and the top portion of the back cavity. Are you looking at the photos?
Yeah. So you're 100% right, which is interesting because there's definitely some kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily chrome on the back, but the muscle, which is just a little bit different than the previous P7MBs that are currently out.
Yeah, not too much different.
Not too much. It's still got that kind of triangular look, but it looks like there's basically, instead of just a triangle kind of on the toe, the way that it's beveled, it's done on the heel, on the toe, and the crown of it is kind of like more dead center.
Exactly.
The one thing, when you look at your photo from the back, like looking at the back of it, it looks like that comes out like a ton. Like it looks like it's super tall. And then when you get to the images you have of like the sole, it's really shallow. Like it's not a huge, massive metal that comes out there.
It just looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know exactly what changes they made. You can just kind of tell from the photos. It's even hard to see in person just because the way, like, the geometry of the shape is. It's hard to even necessarily tell how thick it is in different areas.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking photos of it, like, in hand. I'm not, rubbing my fingers on the back of it and really getting to analyze it. So all I have is the photos, too. And I haven't hit him. Like, I can just go by Collin. He's, basically saying he tightened up the dispersion just a little bit. Like, I even asked him, has anything changed with spin and launch? He's like, no, not really.
Yeah, I mean,
which is what he didn't want anything to change.
And it's interesting because then, like, shortly after you did this, like, photo thing, I think the USGA conforming list put the P7MB, or TaylorMade submitted them, whatever, but the P7MB, so what we assume is probably the retail version, showed up. So the CMs, you know, if you come next year when you go to buy a set of these, they're not going to say CM on them. That's Collin Morikawa's set.
Yeah,
they're the one set is going to be the traditional P7MB name. But yeah, I mean, if anything, I mean, the USG conforming pictures are always garbage, like hot trash. They give you an idea.
Do we have beef with the USGA now?
No, that's just a conforming list. Like it's a conforming list. Like, give me a color photo at minimum. I mean, how hard is that?
There has to be reason. There has to be a reason they don't put color, because they probably don't want to, like, the companies would probably get mad, actually.
Yeah.
Being like, I get 100%. We have to put it on the conforming list, but we don't want to reveal all our marketing plans and exactly what it's going to look like. We need to keep some intrigue. So it's probably the USGA just working together with the companies to keep it that way.
No, 100%. I think it's 100% what it is. And then, you know, but and the angles are slightly different, but it does look like Morikawa's, that back cavity is a little more angled. The retail one looks a little more rounded off. But overall, like you said, I mean, unless you're able to hold up some P7MB's retail like next to Collin's, like, it's going to be really tough to tell those subtle differences that are probably in sole shape, maybe a little bit of blade length, stuff like that.
They're just so shiny. It's tough to tell. Like the chrome and just the way the geometry is, it's honestly just tough to tell with those.
Very minimal offset.
They look like. But yeah, definitely minimal offset. They got a cool raw look. What was interesting to me is that he said he just got them 2 weeks ago, and they look worn.
Yeah.
Like,
the back of that 8-iron?
Jeez.
Yeah, the back of that 8-iron. And the back of that 8-iron is like nicked up. Like the amount of bag chatter in there is crazy. Which also then makes you say, how soft are these bad boys going to be? You know, like when you do hit them, like how good are they going to feel? But you're right. Like, it'll be interesting to see because, like I said, the USGA site for the conforming one, the P7MB, it's hard to tell. You can't tell the finish on it if it's going to be a shinier chrome or what. But you are right. These definitely look like they have a raw finish. Now, they may be 100% raw because I remember when Wilson did the the Tour V6, and they did a raw version. I remember when they showed up, they sent them to the office, and I remember opening the box, and I was like, these aren't raw. Like, they're polished chrome. Like, they're super shiny. They just polished them. And they didn't put any chrome on them, so they still rusted up. So that back could rust up still, even on Morikawa's, if they are raw.
I think it's two-tone.
Yeah, it could be. Or, I mean, you know, it is. It's just hard to tell. I mean, the face definitely and the top line kind of this rawish look. It could be just a media blasted, sandblasted look. I mean, it's tough to tell, but they're sweet irons, man. Like, do look really good.
Yeah, they do look cool. And then at the top end of the set, also two new long irons.
Yep.
They're called P7MC, though. Have you looked at these photos?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
What do you got on these designs? Because it looks very subtle to me. Like, I almost couldn't tell at first that it was different, but obviously the toe section looks a bit different and just slight, minute changes, it seems, but definitely new.
Yeah. They're, like you said, I mean, the biggest difference that inside that badge, those kind of like milled lines or whatever they had before, it ran the full cavity, and they ran basically horizontal through the cavity. And then this new one is kind of like more like a 45-degree angle, and then the toe is solid. Probably not much there in terms of other than graphics. I don't think anything there is really going to change sound, feel, anything like that. And the muscle on it looks pretty much the same there. It's got this kind of triangular look that goes up into the center of the cavity, comes back down. It looks pretty similar. There's not a ton, the difference in terms of shaping. It doesn't look like there's a ton of difference there. Same with these, though. Very little offset. Top line's still pretty thin. They definitely look like they're still kind of long heel to toe, like the previous MC was. Even compared to the blade, just from your photos, you can kind of tell MC is going to be a little longer. It's probably overall a little larger head, but for a one-piece forged cavity back, it looks really good. I mean, they pretty much said we had something successful last year. Don't mess it up.
I was just going to say, I was going to ask you actually. Do you think this is the don't mess it up year release for TaylorMade irons? Because they had awesome irons that the players and the marketplace in general loved. I think they knocked it out of the park last year, right? Like the P7MBs, P7MCs, they definitely killed it on the marketplace.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think if you look at TaylorMade, what was it, 2 years ago when they came out with everything? You know, it was MB, P7 MB, MC, P770, even P790 when it first. I think it was 2 years ago because 790 got replaced like this year or something like that. They did the 790 just early in the year. So I think, because I think they've all run 2 years, I think.
Okay. I thought maybe it was last year, but you might be right. It might have been 2 years.
It might have been 2 years on these, but from P770, which he has a 4-iron of a P770 in his bag. So from 770 down to MB, TaylorMade killed it last year in terms of players' irons. Those things were 770s were in tons of bags because for guys like me who need like that cheater players club, it was perfect.
Cheater players club, I like that one.
It gives you distance forgiveness, but it's compact. It looks small, and then you get into the MC and the MB, which were flatter flying, really good feeling, workable irons that low handicap players love. So, yeah, I think TaylorMade came into this year and said, "Hey, let's make something that is refined, but let's make sure that the guys who love these things still love them for what they were." And yeah, I think they did a great job. So
I like how they look in the dress. I think they look like really solid long irons. I love what he does, like his combo set that he has right here. I mean, his short irons look really good. I'm looking at the 7? Yeah, I'm looking at the 7-iron right now. Just minimal offset. It kind of has that old X-Forge look to me, like kind of the way it just sets up at a dress. I just like the way the iron looks. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what TaylorMade ultimately ends up saying about the tech and what changes they actually did make. Very curious to know. They obviously work with players so closely on custom sets and designing exactly what they want from blades and cavity backs. Like, these are the clubs that they actually play. So curious to see what they all came up with together. I don't know when that announcement's coming out. I don't know when they're coming, but probably soon would be my guess.
Yeah, I want to say that I don't think we'll get an official word details all that till next year, but I think it'll be something around there where we'll actually hear from it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, but like your comment, Morikawa doesn't change a whole lot. Guy's still playing an OG original sim driver.
I know.
He's still playing the original sim, which is a great driver. I mean, I'm not knocking him. That's a great driver. But he's still playing an OG sim. And then he's still playing a sim tie fairway. And then he's got like one stealth wood in there. But, like you said, he doesn't change stuff much. He's got a sim driver in there still. And, that thing was a heater, though. I played that. I played the Sim Max, and I loved it, man. That thing was like it's crazy low spin. It was still forgiving. It just, man, it was good.
He also made a minor putter change as well. He said he changed to a plumber's neck. I think too much info on exactly why he did that. I'm assuming it has to do with some sort of toe hang or the way the putter opens and closes for him. Releases, I should say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's I kind of didn't know that he was using something different. because he always uses that Soto.
I know. Right? He's been changing a lot recently. I even said that. I was like, is this still the same putter that you were using? He's like, no, I made a change to the neck. Like, I didn't even really notice it at first either.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those like with putters, like. Especially with something where it's just like a neck, where it's something really small like that, it's sometimes hard to like realize. But back in February, he was using what was it, a Juno with like a long neck, so that was probably face balanced. And then moving to the Soto with the plumber's neck, he probably added a little toe hang, so it has a little more of that rotation through the swing. But he's also had Spider GTs in the bag. I mean, he's got kind of a little everything. But
this year's been wild with the putter saga with Morikawa for sure.
Yeah, but he's rocking the LA golf shaft in it as well, which we're seeing so many of those in bags. I mean, we're seeing a ton of them. But LA golf shaft, Soto. I mean, it's a pretty clean putter. Just a single dot on the top.
Yep.
I mean,
he changed that right before the President's Cup. He threw the dot on there. He said he was liking it more than the line.
Yep. But yeah, overall, like you said, I mean, if the plumber's or if the long neck was the one he had in before, he's moving from basically less toe hang to more with this putter. So, yeah, maybe something he realized through his stroke, working with his coaches, that needed to add a little more toe hang, a little more of that rotation, and, shorten up the hosel, and there you go.
There you go. So that was some Collin gear content. I was not expecting some Collin Morikawa iron content this week, I'll tell you that. When I was going to Bahamas, that's not the gear content I thought I was going to get, but a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Someone that also definitely surprised me, Tony Finau. Now, he always carries like a Ping staff bag. I think all the Ping guys, they carry just that, white and black Ping staff bag, very clean, but it never changes. He slaps his logo on there usually. So when I saw him, he was putting his putter back into his bag when I approached the green, and he was about to go to the first tee. And I see his golf bag, and it was not the Ping staff bag. It's this deep, like vibrant purple. And I start getting closer, and I saw the front of it first, and it just had his last name, Finau, and then underneath the number 7 to make it look like a jersey. So it's this purple bag. It's like a jersey on the front. I'm like, what is going on with this thing? And then I saw the side of it, and it's the Utah Jazz logo, huge Utah Jazz logo. If anyone doesn't know what the logo looks like, I would suggest, either Google Tony Finau Utah Jazz bag to see the actual bag on golfwrx.com or at golfwrx on Instagram. It's on there as well. But definitely check out the Utah Jazz logo because, in my opinion, they have one of the best colorway logo combos in the NBA. I always loved the Supersonics back in the day. The Memphis Grizzlies have a good one. I think there's probably some more on that list that I'm leaving out. A lot of the throwback jerseys are really cool. Like Miami Heat have great throwback jerseys. The old New Jersey Nets, got to put on for my squad. They probably don't belong on that list, but I would say the Utah Jazz, every year, their logo is up there. They got a great jersey, and they basically turned it into a staff bag for Tony Finau to carry this week. I know it was a partnership between like Aptiv, which is one of his sponsors. I think they do environmental health, something along those lines. It's for a good cause.
Yeah.
Check out the company if you're interested. And then Vessel made the bag. And the reason, obviously he's from Utah growing up. I think he's actually sneaky a Lakers fan, or he used to be at some point. But he was playing alongside Danny Ainge. Who, for any NBA fans, pretty classic, legendary name. Definitely shot the ball pretty well. He was a NBA All-Star in 1988, but he now is an executive for the Utah Jazz. So Tony Finau's playing with Danny Ainge in Pro-Am, and he shows up with this just incredible Utah Jazz staff bag. Is this thing as cool as I think it is? I know there were kind of some mixed. I mean, a lot of people loved it on Instagram at least, and then other people were like, "This is hideous." And I can't tell if they're hating or if I'm overreacting. But what do you think about this bag?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I like, personally, if I had full control, I think going the old school Utah Jazz logo, where the J is kind of like the music note type thing, I think would have been even cooler. But this is a pretty sweet bag. I mean, especially if you are a Jazz fan. It's set up like a jersey, like the front pocket has a Finau name. He's number 7 for whatever reason. I wonder if that was an old high school number or something. And then, like you said, the side of it is the full Jazz logo, and then that company Adaptive on the other side. But I think it's pretty sweet. I mean, it's one of those, if I was in his position, and I was offered to do a bag like that, I would do a Lions bag in an absolute heartbeat. Is
that the bag you would go with? That's the most meaningful team to you, Lions?
Yeah, for me, basically when I watch sports, basically for pro sports, it's football, then hockey, then probably NBA, and then MLB. If you go the 4 big ones,
hockey's that high for you, huh? I didn't know that about
it's not that high. Realistically, I'm going to go college football, NFL,
Yep.
college basketball, then into NBA basketball, or then into hockey, then into NBA basketball, all that.
Because I thought you were going to say Michigan State first.
Well, yeah, that's college, but we're going pro. I mean, I would definitely, Michigan. Hey, man, my Michigan State season's over. We're done. We're done.
Always have been.
Yeah, the basketball's coming, but no, but I think it's a cool bag. Like I said, you may not love the purple, and you may not love the teal or whatever the colors. You know, I get that. Like, not everybody's a purple person, but I think anybody in his position who, hey, let's make this really cool bag for your favorite NBA or whatever team, and then we'll auction it off, raise a bunch of money, and do that. I think everybody would take a shot. If you had the chance to make a bag like this for yourself, if you're on tour or whatever, in a heartbeat you would do it, because it is a cool bag. It's a cool concept, and I kind of hope we see more of that stuff. Because I mean, he's carrying it for the Pro-Am, then they're going to raffle it off. He'll probably autograph it. I hope we see more of that stuff for the Pro-Ams. Like, that'd be pretty cool, to see a whole tournament where a bunch of guys are out there with their favorite whatever and auction all the bags off and all that. I think that'd be pretty sweet. So
I know the
I'm a big
sponsors
fan.
probably wouldn't be super happy about that, but it is Pro-Am Day, so
exactly
it's different to me because you're not on TV.
Yep.
They just might be contractually obligated to, every time they make an appearance in an event, they have to be carrying a ping bag. I'm not sure. Like I said it many times on this show, but I would love to get a look at these contracts to see exactly what's required of them. But you can just kind of tell.
Yeah, and
or else
Vessel
they
makes
probably
sweet.
would do that more often. But he is giving the bag away.
Yeah.
He's actually going to the Warriors Jazz game on Wednesday to give it away. I'm not sure if he's going to go out to center court at halftime and pick it out of a hat, whether it's a raffle or whether they're working with Adaptive on some sort. I don't know exactly how to enter to win the giveaway, but I know that they're giving it away at the NBA game. So if you're going to that game and you're interested in golf in any way, shape, or form, try to enter to get this bag because it's a sick bag.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. I mean, depending on what they do, but I know some bags have popped up here and there for guys like Rory and other guys that they did a Bose bag or something like that. Mm-hmm. They did something kind of cool. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they can do. But this one, and I mean, it's a Vessel. Vessel makes just fire bags.
Yeah,
I mean, I have two of them. They're absolute money. So being able to do a custom one with them would be pretty cool.
Yep.
I'm jealous.
Okay, so let's go inside of bags now. Get back to the gear. I really only have 2 gear changes left. It was a relatively slow week. I mean, there's only, 18 players in the field, and not everyone's making changes, so is what it is. But there was a big Corey Connors driver change. Now, I don't know if people know this, but if you go and look at Corey Connors' driving stats, he's top 8 strokes gained off the tee the last 4 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's one of the best drivers out there. And he had been using a G400 LST for 5 years. I asked him, I was like, when's the last time you made a driver change? He's like, well, I've changed out the heads technically, but I've been playing a G400 LST since the 2017 U.S. Open at Erin Hills. That's how long ago that was. Erin Hills. I haven't even heard that name.
Wow.
But, yeah, so he switched the 400 LST, played it all the way since, and then he just moved into the 430. I saw the 430 head cover peeking out of his golf bag, and I was like, did you actually change to the new driver, or is that just the head cover? He's like, no, I actually changed to the new one. Let's go check it out. So walk over there with him. He shows me the driver. I'm like, what do you think about it? He's like, to me, it looks pretty much the same from address, so it's not a huge deal. It's not that big of a change. And he's like, I obviously wouldn't have switched if it wasn't a little bit better. He's like, now, I think the 400 LST might have been a little bit faster, in terms of max ball speed off, on center hits. But he was saying the 430 is just so much more forgiving. And, the feel and sound are a little bit better. It was kind of a no-brainer to switch. And then he did you look at his shaft? He's got a 101. Yeah. UST Mamiya. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It might be Mamiya.
Yeah, I'm gonna mess it up too. But yeah, it's a link.
But it's a link.
Yeah. M40X M40X Black. I think it's.
But he
I have the
essentially
blue
said
one.
it's like the same shaft he was playing. It's just got a different, like, not paint job, but it's basically the same shaft he was playing. And it's just like a one-of-one made for him. But it's still like a Link model.
Yeah, so the Link, they make the M40Xs in red, blue, and black. And the black is the low launch, low spin version. It's got the stiffest tip section of the three. The midsection's still pretty stiff on it. I've hit the blue version. I have the blue version. It's a really good mid-launch, low-spin shaft. It's got, smooth feel to it. It's pretty tight. They use like a higher-end carbon fiber on these M40Xs compared to like the standard Links. But I haven't hit the black one, but the blue one's pretty darn solid. So, and it's pretty stout. So I got to imagine the black one, you got to bring some heat to get it really moving. But it's that M40X line is pretty underrated. I don't think too many people have hit them, and they're really solid shafts.
Yeah, I never hit them personally.
Yeah, they're good.
But he seemed pretty fired up about the change. It's gotta be tough for a guy like him. Like, I've been driving it so well for so many years. It's one of the strengths of my game. It's probably really hard for him to switch, but if you can gain an advantage over yourself and improve year to year, you got to go for it. But he seems really happy with it. A lot of guys seem happy with the 430. They all made that change super quick. What was it? 28 of them in play the first week in Vegas. I think it was 28 change the first week. You almost never get those kind of conversion rates just because it's pro golfers. It's a driver. Like, you obviously have to be really comfortable with the driver. And for everyone to change that quickly, not too many people are changing back from what I've seen. And then you get a guy like Corey Connors, the 400. I think, me and you agree that this is one of those unicorn type drivers. So for that to bite the dust and for the 430 to actually go into play for Corey Connors, I would say that's a pretty significant deal.
Yeah. Like you said, a guy hasn't changed one in 5 years and then to toss in a new one. Like you said, not only does it have to be a little bit better, but it can't be worse at certain things than what he had before. There's a guy who's not going to change. If he knows, like, oh, man, when I miss it low heel, this is what the ball does, and this is what I expect it to do. This can't come out and you miss it low heel and it goes, 20 yards more right of that, or, whatever happens. So, it's a lot of high praise for that 430 that it can, a guy who's that picky, a guy who doesn't change much can move over to it and be pretty happy. I'm super intrigued with the 430 LST. Like, I really want to hit it. I can't wait to get my hands on one and hit it, because it is like the adoption around tour just kind of makes you go like, all right, there's something here. Like, something's going on here, and it'll be interesting to hit it. But it's a good looking driver. Like, even like the kind of neon yellow or whatever is starting to grow on me a little bit, and that's not a color I typically like super love. It's starting to grow on me a little bit the more I see this 430.
I think it looks good too. I would say, some people are probably just off-put by the crown. It's a lot going on, but it's one of those things, like, after two swings, then it's just, okay, that's what I'm hitting. You get over it so quickly, stuff like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I've played everything from, I think the PXG, the Gen 5 0311 stuff is kind of distracting with the silver carbon on the back.
Yeah, I hear you.
But you look at all these drivers and you say, like I custom ordered a Stealth Plus that had the chalk color on the top, so it was had the black insert, and people will sit there and go, oh, that's distracting. Like you said, it takes like 2-3 swings in the range and you don't even think about it, especially if you're hitting it well. Then you don't even think about it, and it just goes. So, in terms of distracting, okay, if there was like wild stripes and whatever going on the top, okay, fine. But like a matte carbon fiber and a little bit of turbulators, that's not going to do anything. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so last change. Another guy. We've talked about a lot of Justin Thomas putter changes this year. How many times have we talked about it on this show?
There's at least like
this year.
Yeah, it's like he goes in between a couple putters just like crazy.
And they're all custom one-of-ones, like the coolest putters ever. You get the one-of-one Scotty custom neck Justin Thomas. It's going to be a big deal. So it's all these like awesome customs he's gone through this whole year. I think it's probably been 3 different like really unique ones where he's got the knuckle neck, like the custom aluminum insert, back plating. custom weighting. I mean, just all sorts of custom necks, but he's always had this X5 shape or the T5 shape with the wings on the back. And I'm looking at him putting. It looks like he has the back wings. I assumed that it was the most previous one of one. It was not. He went all the way back to the X5 with the short slant flow neck, like no more plumber's neck, long knuckle neck. He just went back to the putter that he was using at the beginning of the year. After all that, like, man, it doesn't feel like a waste of time because it was so entertaining, but it's also, how did we get all the way back to square one? And unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to actually ask him face to face because it was pouring rain and there was just like a little window. It seemed like the guys were going to go out and play, and he was hitting some bunker shots and stuff. So I asked him to shoot the bag, and then the rains came. And when they came, it was downpouring, like raining sideways and cold rain. Like everyone just had to get out of there. So I snapped the pictures as fast as I could. You can even see like there's water droplets all over the putter. But I wanted to make sure I got the putter because I could see that it was a change, that it wasn't the new 101. So I wanted to see exactly what it was. I just didn't have the chance to ask him why he went back. I can't wait to ask him.
It is funny because because the rest of the bag like is dry. Like the photos, it's like driver. It's like, oh, here's the TSR and with the Diamante ZF and and then it's like you get to the irons and then they're still dry, and then the first shot of the putter, which is the sole, soaking wet.
Well, it was
every shot.
It was such a race against the clock because you could kind of see it coming, and then Bones starts running over his caddy, and I'm getting the wedges going. Like I always want to take photos of all the wedges, and I really like to get from address, like because I feel like people always like seeing, okay, what does the face look like? What does the dress look like? What shafts are they playing? And I just started running out of time at the low end, and I didn't do the putter yet, so I was rushing through the wedges. There's not as many wedge shots as I normally would take because I like to show the sole off as well. So I wasn't able to get all the angles of the clubs that I wanted to. And then Bones takes the bag before I get the putter, and they're like right by this tent, like this overhang where you can kind of get out of the way before they boogie back to the clubhouse. And I'm like, can I just shoot the putter real quick? And I'm out. Like I'm going to the media center because it's downpouring and I'm not standing there either. And so I got the putters, but it was pouring rain. Pouring rain.
The other question you need to ask him, along with what is putter, is that a brand new 915 FD 5-wood head? Because the wear on it, like there's no wear on it. Like that was the thing that like
has to be.
There's a tiny bit of wear on the leading edge, and there's like a little face mark starting to show up, like center to slight toe. But overall, like the sole looks like brand new. Like the black finish on it, the like shiny black finish looks brand new. But the shaft is still the old shaft that still has all like speeder, like half the S is missing. It's an old VC92, Vitore speeder VC92. The white one had a red graphics up near the handle section. And those wore terribly. Like that stuff always wore off real easily. But it looks like the old shaft, but the head looks, like I said, pretty brand new. Like it looks really, really clean for a 915 that he's had in the bag for forever. So I wonder if he gets snagged.
It's not possible for that to be the original or anything like that. Definitely a new head. Yeah. Because I'm interested to take face photos of clubs, especially like that old. But it's not like he had a dimed out face. Like it's pretty new. You can obviously tell he maybe put it in like a month or two ago.
And the same thing with the TS3. Like, you look at his TS3 3-wood, which he's been playing the TS3 ever since it came out, and same thing that the face almost has no wear on it. Like, he's only hit a few balls off non-sandy, ranges and whatever. Like, even that, same thing, looks really new and really fresh in that bag as well. So I wonder if he got, like, 2 brand new heads, old stock, just laying around or whatnot. But
he's just got good
they look pretty new.
That's all. He switched out. He probably kept the same exact shaft and just changed out.
it's harder to tell with the 3-wood because he plays a Mitsubishi Tensei AV Raw blue, and that's a pretty new shaft, so there's not a lot of wear on it yet. But that VC, you can tell, has been through some battles. It's seen some action.
Okay. I think that's all we got from this week, gear-wise.
For a short week, 18-man field or whatever it is, like a small field, all that. That's not a bad. It's not a bad showing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we probably would have had a little bit more if, I'm there for 2 days. I'm there for. Yeah. I have like 1 hour at the course on Monday, and no one was there. Tuesday, everyone was there. Did as much as I could. I thought I was going to shoot the rest of the fields, what's in the bags on Wednesday, and it's just a rain out. It's unfortunate because it is a long trip there. I mean, I'm going Arizona to Florida layover all the way out to the Bahamas. It's not woe is me, it's the Bahamas, but it is true. It's just like I'm there for 2 days and one rain out. So, but Greg will be killing some what's in the bags in the Florida swing. I'm not going to go out to the father-son or the match. I think Greg is slotted to be at both.
Wow.
I will be shooting content on the other coast and doing some other video stuff, so definitely be on the lookout. All of our videos go up on golfwrx.com, and all of our photos go up in the forums. So, of course, check those out. Hit us up on social media. We are at TG2WRX. Of course, check out our podcast if you're a fan of the show. You might like our Instagram page as well, or you might hate it, and you can comment and tell us that you hate it. That's fine with us.
Either way. Yeah,
we like to get feedback from the fans. Always like to get, what you guys want. You're just gearheads like us. So we want to give you guys what you want. That's what I got for Two Guys Talking Golf this week, Nelson. You got any parting words?
Nope. I got my Christmas lights up today.
Yeah, you did.
So was pretty excited about that. Other than that, no, I got nothing, man. I was, like I said, jealous of you being down there in the Bahamas. Probably a lot warmer and warmer than it is here, but it was cool that you got to go there and check it out.
I still have my Christmas tree up from last year, so we're good.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Just turn it on.
Kidding.
Yeah, just plug it in. We're good.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, I guess we'll let Greg kill it and see what he comes up with gear-wise next week, and we'll see you then. This was Two Guys Talking Golf.
Still go, 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 go.